Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
Why, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
What up?
So, welcome to the US Forward Podcast. I'm not sure how long that's going to stay the US Forward Podcast,
It's the US
or if I'm just going to make a new podcast, depending upon how things go tonight. I'm just letting you know now. This is an audition. Just putting that out there now. This way it works out. This way, I mean, you know what you're getting into and everything like that. And already, I'm just letting you know now, if this was a job interview, one or two of you would definitely be behind the 8 ball. Like, seriously.
We come as a package.
I could definitely like start some shit with like my former co-host and shit, because Meek knows what I'm talking. Meeka knows what I'm talking about when I talk about.
You're gonna have a hard time with that, aren't you? Yeah, figure it out now.
My mama's favorite
That's right.
knows what this is like, because I ran a show for however long, and I had a co-host that didn't do anything as far as like prep and things like that, and it didn't always show, but the times that it did show, it was like glaring, and like people called me and shit like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on?" Like, and I'd be like, "All right, cool, but whatever." So, how y'all doing tonight? I am Basim The Dream, as y'all affectionately know me as. And joined with me today are these two beautiful ladies. I'll introduce first. On the bottom is, what do you want to be called?
Meeka.
All right, so
That's
it
my
is
name.
Meeka, formerly of no other podcast that I know of. She has an awesome resume when it comes to the entertainment industry. She's worked with some of the best. And so go ahead, tell them a little bit about yourself, Meek.
No, I'm just kidding. First of all, let's sidetrack real quick.
You don't have to respond to me.
Bessie. I feel like you were airing your grievances a little bit and kind of trying to tell on us a bit, but again, we're a package deal, so like,
Period.
we're not going to do that today. However, I done a little bit as far as helping folk when the internet was first popping and EPKs needed to be put out for people that were musicians and singers, and sometimes I still dabble around in doing that as far as like putting their resume out there, updating a resume so they can get some good old work. Other than that, I'm in corporate America, and also just pursuing my dreams of writing and things. So, yeah.
Alrighty, but you got a book coming?
I do. I have a copywritten book. And right now I have a mentorship that is helping me out. The name of the book is Still Love. So I will be posting some things as well when that's up and popping.
Okay. I like
Thank you, friend.
I like it. And up top, we have the one and only, my wife, Meeka ATS, formerly of All the Smoke podcast. The first one, we just didn't copyright it in time.
That's okay.
So yeah, but she's got a lot of projects coming up as far as podding is concerned. But currently she is in school for her doctorate. Yes, she'll be the first Dr. Stroud Clark if she ever changes her name. But Meek, tell them about yourself.
I agree with my sister down here. So Festivus is a holiday, if you're not familiar, from the show Seinfeld. That happens in December, if I'm not mistaken, around Christmas time, like between Christmas and Thanksgiving and Christmas. That is not this month. So anything that you want to say or need to say to us,
Mm-hmm.
that's why this is called the Fruple episode, because you can do so with just us. You had minutes upon minutes before we got to the people to decide that you wanted to show up and show out.
Yeah,
Um,
trying to air your
but okay,
grievances in
but
front of
okay,
everybody.
Festivus.
Like,
But you, all
Um,
right. But y'all know me, right?
that's
oh,
fine.
All right. I
Do the
just wanted to
people
make
know?
sure.
Okay, well the people gonna know too now. So if you're his friend, by the way, baby, you will be next. Anyway, like he said, I'm Meeka ACS, formerly of the All the Smoke podcast with Simone and Meek, which is the thing that differentiated us from the sports pod All the Smoke. Anybody that knows me knows I am not a sports person. So when I heard that, I was actually excited because I was hoping that all the traffic that was supposed to be going to All the Smoke podcast, sports podcast, would show up to us as well. And we
And
did very well.
it actually did.
Yeah, so if you want to go back, we are still on streaming platforms. We took a hiatus that turned into a break that turned into I'm not sure where we stand, and I need to have a conversation with my partner about not this partner, but about where we stand because I don't like being in the unknown, if you will. But yeah, still on streaming devices. All the Smoke podcast with Simone and Meek. So check us out.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I forgot to share this out. My bad, Joe. Give me a second, but I will. All right. So today, right, I had decided that we were going to talk about a few things. One of them was the Steve Smith situation, with the wife cheating, because I refuse to say that he cheated. I just can't. He said so. All right, I'll tell you why. But we gotta keep going.
you gotta let the people know. Give the people a synopsis.
I gotta let you know. So what happened was some guy named, damn it, I can't remember his name. What was his name? I don't remember.
Don't matter, some man.
Some man. This guy right here. Martinez is his last name. That part I do know. And her name is Martinez as well. But this guy right here decided that he was going to go through his wife's phone. And I don't understand why men do that, but he decided to do it. Went through the phone and found out that Steve Smith had moved his wife's IUD. I'm sorry, not moved. Dislodged. Dislodged his wife's IUD. Now, any man that's ever accidentally hit the IUD knows how painful that is. So, that's kind of what he found out. Now, there were more text messages that he kind of let out. He was posting all sorts of screenshots and shit, tagging Steve Smith and all of that. This is the wife, and this is the wife that we're talking about. Her name is Mrs. Martinez. I'm not sure how long that's going to be, but that's what it is today. So she was the one that was, sleeping with Steve Smith. Now, the reason that I won't call Steve Smith a cheater,
because he didn't get caught.
No, he said one thing that let me know he wasn't a cheater.
What sprung your cheater antennas up? What?
She licked my wife's ass too. It ain't cheating. They had a threesome. They had a throuple. So
How long?
I don't know. It don't matter. From the we'll just say from the couch to her lower back. That's
Not what I meant when I said how long. That's weird of you to assume that that's what I meant. What I'm saying is it's giving, and I don't want to move from whatever topic you had planned for this, but it's giving that consent one time means consent forever. You want to go on the fact that this man ain't cheap because he alluded to the fact that one time something happened.
He just said that that's what happened.
But that's all you have to go off of, that it happened one time.
No, I have to go off of that it happened. I'm not counting the number of times.
So you're just going off the information that has been
given. Nobody said, well, it was only done once. It was done 6 times. Like, nobody said any of that. You know how big I am on consent. I love it in enthusiastic yeses, all of those. Like, right? But I'm not saying that I can't call my man a cheater.
Okay.
Considering that he might have moved the IUD in the threesome. Like that. Like he might have dislodged the IUD. You know what I mean? Like she was a unicorn. She was,
I mean,
you know, she
You
she
making
knows
all this
she's in
up.
the wrong because of the apology that Steve Smith gave out, and he was like, "Sorry." Like,
yeah.
there wasn't any, I thought this was okay with you guys, or, we had a conversation. The evidence that is presented is showing that when they get down with the get down, they both know. And for this reason, and it looked like they had a history. Like, it wasn't a one-time thing.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
From the text
wasn't.
messages, it was
And
like,
so,
yeah.
not Tay Diggs. What's the other boy name? The one that I like. What's the actor boy? Whatever. But he introduced him to.
Not Morris Chestnut.
No, not Morris Chestnut. The other. Did he play in it? No. Hotel Rwanda.
Okay, I know who you talk about.
Don Cheadle?
Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle introduced Nicole.
What I win? What I win? What I win? What I win? What I win?
You won my love and affection long time ago.
Oh.
So Don Cheadle introduced the two of them, and when he introduced them, she said she wasn't married.
Well, I mean,
now
were they
so
separated at the time?
No, none of that. Like per
That meant she wasn't in the relationship no more. She said, "I'm
she said
I'm single."
She said, "I'm out."
I'm single now.
Like she said, Steve Smith, I'm single.
Niggas do it all the time. Niggas do it. My husband is married. I'm single.
Yeah, she was planning her exit. Basically, that's what it was.
But that was almost 2 years ago.
She was planning her exit. You can plan your exit for years.
You're right.
That's what women do.
Okay.
But so yes, she was planning her exit. We'll rock with that. And so yeah, so to me, I don't look at Steve Smith as the cheater in this instance because of the threesome.
Like, you mean you're not looking at Steve Smith or Martinez?
No,
Steve Smith is who she cheated with.
But Steve Smith is married, and so the women's fair immediately jumped down Steve Smith back because he's married. He's married. Oh my God! And then when his wife said
his wife might have been recording. Look,
so that's what I'm saying. So it's like, like before y'all start jumping down, like first, and this is where men look at women and say, y'all lack accountability, even amongst each other. It's because in instances like this, a lot of men, in instances like this, they don't. No, not even. I don't personally care. So, but outside of me, a lot of men look at women and say you're not really accountable, and you don't hold other women accountable because in this instance, the first thing, instead of saying, "Damn, that woman did X," the first thing that I saw any women say was, "Steve Smith was a cheater. He cheated on his wife. How could he do that?" And it's like, how could she do it? Her husband was the one that outed this thing.
I mean, are they known? I mean, nobody knows anything, but is it that they're known for those types of things? And it's like, Steve Smith, this is coming out of like, whoa, like not you type of thing. Because, sometimes we'll put stuff on people. Like, I don't expect that from you, but I may expect that from that particular group or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of assumptions that's coming from everything. We only have so much information. But are they known for being on the scene? The Martinez, couple.
The Martinez's probably not.
Yeah,
probably not. She was a cheerleader or something. And
most people in the lifestyle aren't public about being in the lifestyle. So
they don't.
When I'm saying within that group, you know what I'm saying? Right, there's usually somebody like probably within that group that knows stuff.
But
like
even in what you're doing now, you're still not holding her accountable for her actions. You're saying, well, maybe they were in the
No, I think she's guilty. I mean, they're all listen, him and her, to me, they're both guilty. They're both cheaters or whatever.
But guilty of what?
On them if they didn't define their boundaries.
That's what I'm saying. Guilty of what, though? Like, this is the court of public opinion. I thought that's where you were going with that. And my thing is, instead of worrying about why people, whether it's women or not, are saying, "Oh, Steve Smith is a cheater," and why he cheat on his wife, more so it's about you only know what you know. And I know that that's what people make judgments and assumptions off of. But acknowledge and be aware that that's a judgment and assumption with the little bit of ass information you got.
Oh yeah,
you don't know what the hell is going on.
I
right? So
mean,
what do you?
they recorded the phone call, and Steve was apologizing to the husband, like it's out loud. So there's
Yeah.
something that was done that they didn't agree to as a couple.
But if you
I
and
would
I are in
apologize.
agreement with something, right? Meeka, I'm talking about you. If you and I are in agreement with about something, and this is supposed to be a discretionary thing, and this is this our thing, and it gets out and causes some type of damage, I can see myself having a conversation with somebody and saying, "My bad," like because in my mind, we didn't expect it to do this. We didn't expect this to happen. So yeah, I'm gonna come to you for whatever damage control purposes and say like, "Damn, dog, my bad. I'm sorry about that." Like that's legitimate to me. I can understand that. Like
Yeah,
we're talking
but
about how long of a phone call versus we don't know.
the
That little
details of the if it was just that, it was what he was saying and then him apologizing afterwards. It wasn't like, man, how could you do this? It was like, you effed my wife, you did such and such, whatever. Like, it was that. So there's something that wasn't, they didn't agree to something, or a conversation wasn't had. That's
Yeah, they didn't agree
looks like.
on the
Mhm.
change in the method of birth control. That's what they not agree on. They said we don't want to have the original couple. She got it because we don't want to produce any more offspring. And you come, yeah, man, fucking up the mission. So yeah, you gotta see me. You gotta see me because that wasn't a part of the agreement. So when you saying you fucked my wife, listen, I'm like, bro, I know. I know you wanted me to purr, but I purr and like now the thing is go. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm just
You
saying.
know, you
Look,
know, I hear you, and I wish that I could agree, but I
you
have
know,
nah. I really do, I really do. But my grandfather told me that sorry people don't make it nowhere in life, and that ain't enough to be sorry about to me. I'm
everybody ain't your granddaddy.
I would have
I'm
I
not
don't
your
even
daddy. I'm
like
your
I wouldn't
grandpa.
apologize to it
I'm not your
because it's
daddy.
like yo like apologize for what like
Okay, and that's how you feel.
and if that's the thing, like if that's the thing, let's go with the idea that I mean the husband was a cuck, right? We'll rock with that.
He ain't have to be
And
involved.
all right, cool, he wasn't involved. Any of it, right? I'm not apologizing for pleasing a woman. I'm not. I'm just not doing it. It's
But
just
that's
not in
not
me to
what he
do.
was accusing him. You responded to her. Don't let her reel you into this. That's not what that phone call is about. And you heard them text messages. He is scrolling and yelling because he's like, you do, but the IUD, that
Because
text did come up. I can't.
ego says, how dare you, nigga? You were supposed to send her back in the same or
Con-
better condition
Conditions.
as what I lent her out to you, and you failed. You
That's
failed.
it.
So
That's
even
it.
though I was a little apprehensive about this arrangement in the first place, I still let it rock, and this is what happened. I refused. So now I got a Tarish. Period.
I I can't
What
disagree.
more do y'all want from him? That's all I gotta say about it. He did
Can't
what he
disagree.
did.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm not even gonna.
I can't disagree.
The okay.
Like
I'm just
I
saying.
listen.
When it come
Like
out like this, don't. I want to hear it.
I mean,
Move
all right.
about the cabin, Vaccine. Move about the
So
cabin.
so in this instance, right? Let's say that you are the husband in this instance, right? Could you forgive and forget? Could you move past it and continue the relationship? Do you consider this part of the what's the vow say? The rough
For better
times
or for worse.
for better or for worse? Do we consider this part of the worst?
That's subjective as fuck. For better or for worse.
Ain't it?
Because what
Who's
else has
better and
happened?
who's worse?
What else has
Could
happened?
I forgive if I was the husband? I If it's me we're talking about,
You the
Are
husband.
you going off of your circumstance that
that's what no, I'm trying to think about like if I could put my literal self into this man's shoes and or, like be him. Voila. Um, I think it got too publicly out of hand for me. It got already. It's too it's too public for me because I can't go
But
around
but but
fucking people up for like
but you make but
constantly.
but you made it public.
Right. That's why I wouldn't go back. What do you mean?
Yeah,
That
because
doesn't matter.
you embarrassed by now.
Yeah, you embarrassed yourself. Ain't nobody else know.
Well, that's what
It was in
people
a
get
text
for not
message.
slowing down before they respond. Y'all got that one for free. Yeah, I ain't sending no invoices for that. The idea is slow down, take some fucking deep breaths, then decide what you're going to do. But when you respond of sheer instinct, you get what the fuck you get, and you don't get upset.
You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Kindergarten. So like, no, I'm not staying.
It was so optimistic.
I'm not staying. That's one thing to answer your thing. And if I'm embarrassed at my basement, because we have a balcony and we have a basement, right? At my basement, I'm probably reacting. Ting.
I mean, I feel like a balcony is midway to the top. I have an observatory. There's words for everything in the English
My
language.
balcony, I'm probably planning my exit, gonna do what I can do to leave the best way possible. But yeah, I'm not staying. Either way, I'm not staying. Just depends on how I'm gonna go out. We're putting ourselves in his shoes. Probably the balcony, because they already had a situation going on. She violated the situation. Obviously, that wasn't enough for her. But it looks like she wanted to be out because, they had like a whole relationship going on. It looked like on them text messages.
Do you think that cheaters? First off, do you think that cheating is a symptom of a bigger issue?
Do I think what?
Cheating is always a symptom of a bigger issue.
You saying true or false?
No, I'm asking you. Do you think that cheating is always a symptom of a bigger issue?
No.
I think
I don't like when you speak in generalities, though.
All right, cool.
Always. No.
85% of the time, cheating is a symptom of a bigger issue.
I think it's always a symptom of another issue.
Another issue.
Okay. So cheating could have made the issue bigger, is basically what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but also vice versa. That whatever, was happening or not happening, sometimes leads people to make that choice.
A lot of people with, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like that have like substance issues and things like that tend to have an issue with staying together because it's considered like another high.
Well, that on the top of the fact that people that have substance abuse issues, also normally have discipline issues or lack thereof.
And there we go.
And so yeah, I could definitely see that. Personally, I don't think that cheating is a sign of a bigger issue. This comes from a reformed cheater. And the reason I say that is because I think that because we like to say men lack discipline and if you put some women in certain situations like Miss Martinez, she ran into, NFL football player, former NFL football player. Yeah, I mean, his body is probably shaped like a god, and like he's black. He's everything she wanted in a sexual tryst. And he's like giving her rhythm, and he's giving her rhythm. She realized she had an option and said, I'm gonna do a thing. And then when she did it, she enjoyed it. After she got away with it, she was like, oh, I'm gonna do it again. And then she just kept doing it.
So I'm a little bit taken aback by you saying people who lack self-discipline, because for me, that is an emotionally intelligent philosophy. If you're not self-aware, then you're not going to discipline around what? Like you said, I saw this man, he looked all the things, your example, all the things, and I wanted this thing. For me to be able to stop myself, I would have to at least be emotionally intelligent and self-aware enough to say, should I or shouldn't I? What's the consequences if I do it? What's the consequences if I don't? Et cetera, et cetera. Most people are just impulsive and selfish. So I don't think that they necessarily are vibing out through all of the pros and cons before they do something.
No, I'm not saying that they are.
Well, you said something about
So what I said, all right,
self-discipline.
you might not have heard me. What I said was, after she did it the first time and got away with it
Hmm.
and enjoyed it,
Hmm.
I'm gonna do this again. It's not about the. It wasn't about
So
like
the first time
her
she had
weighing
discipline,
her. No, it's not. No, it's. I'm not saying that she had discipline the first time. I'm saying that Meek thought that it took what I said as me saying that she weighed all the pros and cons the first time. I don't think she
That's
weighed the
not what I'm
pros and
saying.
cons at all
No,
through
that's
the
not
whole
what I'm
thing.
saying at all, though. I didn't say that. I was going off of the fact that you used the phrase lacks self-discipline, like lacks discipline.
Mhm.
Like almost, it almost felt like a blanket across the idea that people who cheat lack self-discipline, by and large, which is 85%. That's what I got
Yes.
from what you were saying. And I was saying,
I think he was
cool.
responding when I was talking about people with substance issues. A lot of people with substance issues
Yeah.
are
Also
there's
lack
a lot of
discipline.
infidelity with people that
Right.
have,
Yeah.
and he said because they lack self-discipline anyway.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. And I'm saying that that's cool. That could be the case, even with substance abusers. I'm saying it doesn't account for emotional intelligence. If I don't consider anything, if I don't think about me, if I don't think about the people that I am attempting to engage with or the one that I promised fidelity to, whatever, then self-discipline for what? Like I don't even realize that I have to think that far. I'm being more impulsive. I'm being more primal. I'm
But
being more
that's what
selfish.
but that's what discipline is. Discipline is recognizing those things. If I recognize those things and still do it, then I'm just reckless. Like
They
those
don't
that's
have
not the
it. That's
same
the point.
that's not the same thing. Me being reckless is me saying, "Yo, I know I did a thing, but I know the consequences and I'm still going to do it."
And that's what I'm
And
saying.
that's
They don't have that, is what I'm saying.
yeah, and so that's why I'm saying it's a lack of discipline because discipline would
Mm,
give you the ability to see those things. Discipline would make you
yeah.
slow down and say, "Hey,
We're saying the same thing, and I
let me
don't
see
want
this
to
thing."
I
go
think y'all
around
are
and
saying
around.
the same thing, but you're giving it
You
two different
it's
definitions, two
semantics.
different words.
It's semantics.
But I think both things are true because there's no context behind what we're actually saying. So you could be thinking from two different things. But I want to go back on something because we're calling it cheating, and you're saying it's not, you don't think it's attached to another problem or a bigger problem at all. Okay, so then
No,
when we
I'm not saying in this case that it isn't.
I'm
What
just
I'm
saying
saying is that
cheating
oh yeah, cheating
overall, because
overall I
it
don't
is
think is
cheating.
yes, I don't think that cheating overall is connected
So
to anything
cheating
else.
is okay. So why are we calling it cheating? Because let's define
Because
what cheating is.
you still agreed to a particular set of rules and boundaries. And if you break those rules and boundaries,
So
you
that's not a
cheat.
problem or an issue.
I didn't say it wasn't. I'm not
You didn't
assigning
he
a
say that he believes that cheating is not
is a
connected. You did. You said it's not
yes.
connected to another problem or issue. That is a problem or issue if
Yes.
you're in a relationship.
It is, but it's not connected to something else. It ain't got to be connected to that she wasn't cooking me dinner. It ain't got to be connected to that.
You're talking okay, but see,
What I'm
that's how
saying
you're
is
defining an issue, and see, and that's how people cheat right there.
Yep. Yep.
It's the lack of communication right there. If we have an issue, and there's something that's going to say, oh, well, it's okay to break this boundary or this covenant or whatever agreement we had together. That's a problem. If there's no thing
it
that's
is.
connected to it, whatever, and you're just like, oh, I want to do it, you do still have a problem or issue. You have a problem or issue. If there's nothing going on at home and all this other stuff, if that's what you were talking about, no,
Yes.
but you still do have a
Yes.
problem or issue. And if you're in a
Yes.
relationship or whatever with
All of
someone,
those.
I think sometimes people should be like, look, I was
I ain't
out
ready.
about, I'm feeling away, and
But
we
can
I
we
need
be
ain't
clear
ready.
about something too, though? We're talking about cheating, like it's this
yeah,
blanket understanding across the board.
yeah,
And that is not the like point here. What I
yeah,
might consider cheating would be different than the next person, next person, the next person.
yeah,
And so
exactly.
we're only going off of their response. We don't know what their agreements were. We don't.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the reason why it's so
But
fun to kind
but that's
of
the
surmise
but
the
the but that's the
it
issue.
wouldn't, none of this would be big shit if the
Yes.
IUD wasn't at play. The
He did.
IUD is the star here. Let's be honest, because nobody would give a fuck if a couple, somebody stepped out in the relationship, blah blah blah. I mentioned it before. It's about ego. It's about that goddamn IUD. Watch the price of IUD skyrocket now. I'm so glad I don't have to fucking do it. Ladies, if the fuck you need one, I advise you to call the GYN immediately. What is cheating?
I mean, in a monogamous relationship, we assume that it's
That's the problem. We assume.
that's the problem with monogamy. But that's a different
It
show.
is not.
Well. We're not going to get into
Every
How many
relationship
people-
has its own
How many
agreement.
people? But they don't though. How many people do you know that actually in monogamous relationships sat down and said, "Hey, these are the things that we agreed to 5 years ago, pre-COVID. Yes, post-COVID, everybody like blah 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 blah. They everybody want to be in LS. Everybody want to be poly. Everybody want to be E&M. 5 years ago,
people.
5 years ago, nobody was talking like, "Hey, let's sit down and work out an agreement."
The internet has done a thing in the last 5 years too. Let's get real. So everybody, I mean, there is no fear on the internet at all because people are saying whatever right now. Yeah,
there are zero boundaries. Oh my gosh, not what about IUDs?
Nope.
You don't need to talk. You sit down, don't say a thing. You do not have permission to engage.
What's up, bro?
In
Love you. Wish you could be on the show tonight. Well,
love you too, but chill out because the 4 fucking question marks is doing me in. Stop it. So, he done made me lose my train of thought. So, but about the cheating part, I think that the issue isn't the monogamy. The issue is that people don't talk. People don't feel like they need to express their wants, needs, and desires. People don't.
That's it right there. I don't want to hear nothing else about it because she said it right there. That's it. What's there to assume about monogamy? You're with one person only, meaning that there is nothing to talk about in people's minds. Period. There's no conversation.
But now you're assuming that that's what she's saying. She's just saying you're with one person. That's it.
This conversation.
She didn't say not to communicate or talk. That's crazy.
Listen, because people choose not to.
People choose not to talk in all kinds of relationships.
We call it choice today. We call it choice today.
Y'all call it choice.
5, 6, 7, 8, 20, 30 years ago, monogamy was literally practiced how our parents practiced it. That's why the assumption is if my parents didn't have good relationships, then the child probably won't have good relationships because that's the model that they follow. That was the assumption. For 100 years, that was the assumption. So there was no need to have a conversation around, yo, me and you were going to be together.
Though. But what you're saying about the time frame, right? The time period. You're like, our parents, right? They also weren't fucking talking. Dad was at work
exactly
25 out of 24 hours a day. Mom was at home. She was talking to her girlfriends if she was allowed. There was no room for conversation because there was no room for compromise. He said what it was. He dictated the dynamics, and that's what it was. If you bring it back more to current times, and people are learning about why communication is so important, now you start hearing shit like, "Oh, hall pass." That's not a E&M or consensual non-monogamy umbrella term. It's a fucking monogamous term. Because they decided, it's me and you in all these aspects, but I understand that you might have sexual desires outside of you and I, so I'm going to let you go do this thing. Motherfuckers ain't going to consider that fucked up if everybody is on the page about what it's hitting for. Yeah. That ain't just one person in that dynamic. You have monogamous people who are a part of the lifestyle community.
Yes.
Because they are in relationship. They express themselves to each other emotionally. So they reserve those emotions. Okay, so then it's not if that's truly the situation.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that she might have been in the lifestyle, but she didn't tell her husband that she was in the lifestyle.
And that's fucked up. Because if that's not what the agreement was, if something was communicated at all, and it's the thing, if there is no agreement and somebody does some shit, i.e. he thought it was his only type shit, and she does something. She's not violating an agreement. She might have hurt his feelings. She might have caused some real damage, but he can leave or he can choose to be like, all right, we need to be clear about what's what here. And I think that's the part that people don't want to. Your feelings aren't fucking facts, bro. Just because you feel a way doesn't mean it's backed up with anything concrete. You can leave out the fucking house right now. Don't come back to 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Didn't, do nothing, the first. Did we talk about what time, I think is an appropriate time for you to be in? You think it's appropriate time for me to be in? Yes. That would violate our agreement. If not, I'm gonna have a problem with that shit. I'm probably gonna be, on the phone like, you all right? But now we got to talk about this because I assume something, you assume something, and the assumptions clash, and that's what it is.
I can rock with that. Shout out to y'all too.
Thanks, Tiffany. Thanks, Fly.
Old
Thanks,
school, not gonna be nothing but diamond sub dynamic.
It's 100%. That's a word. I can't put that shit on a fucking shirt.
I can't disagree.
Anywho,
listen. Since we got to this topic, have you guys been paying attention to the news a little bit, to the interwebs?
Depends on what news.
It does depend on which news.
I mean, if Kofi said something, did you hear about it?
I heard it. We'll be talking. I go put my shit down. We'll be talking.
I had to break up with him. God, you know I love that man.
So Kofi,
if we was monogamous, I would ask for a hall pass. I swear on life. That would be the one.
He's
grown. Monogamy feels too restrictive and performative, like role playing. Now, I like to compare and contrast, right? And so, the other person that's been talking about poly and E&M and all of that type of stuff recently in the interwebs has been Neo. And
boy, it is Neo.
I didn't download the picture because I just felt like it was just unnecessary. Y'all saw the picture. Him and his 3-4 wives. First off, I feel like Kofi gets pretty privileged. I feel like if what's the matter of fact? Give me a name. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say something. You give me the first name that come to mind. All right, you ready? Comedian. Give me the first male name that came to mind. Cat Williams. If Cat Williams would have said those exact words, monogamy feels restrictive. It feels like role playing. It wouldn't be this. It wouldn't land the same, right? Because when I mentioned Neo, she said bald head ass Neo.
I'm not hating on bald head. I'm just simply saying that
that Neo
we've been through the ringer.
Say it.
Okay, but that's not what it's about here. It's about the fact that Neo then put us through the ringer with his bullshit.
There we go.
And so therefore, I think that it's a little less easy for us to accept as he chooses
that he will be fucking somebody else.
No, he was already out there too much doing his folk he was married to just wrong, like really dead wrong, like embarrassing wrong, couple of times out there. And the way he handled it was
it was not
great. It was trash. And so now it's like, oh, here we go, whatever. Otherwise, don't nobody care what he's,
at all.
It's just the way that it was displayed. And it could have been the media, it could have been any, anything, but it's just the presentation of it all. This was set up a different kind of way. This was set up pretty because that episode of Harlem came on and that put up there, and then he got interviewed.
Then the article dropped.
And it was a very nice interview. It wasn't across TMZ or anything like that, like Neo stuff. And is what it is. It was the presentation.
Yeah, because Neo, that shit was like a scandal, right?
Yeah.
And it does a lot of harm to someone wanting to use a poly prefix. I don't care if he says polyamory or polygamy, however he wants to word it. It's going to put a bad taste in most people's mouths, both, the consensual non-monogamy folks and monogamous folks, because the monogamy people are looking like, see, that's that shit they, that's what they think poly is. And then the poly people is like, yo, what the fuck? Like, we do so much to try to separate ourselves from that type fuck shit. And he just keep bringing that to the forefront.
Every time
I don't know what
that's a preference or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what Kofi's, process has been. He stays, his relationships for the most part stay out of the
Thank you
media.
for
So
calling it a
him come,
process.
Mm.
it is a process. I acknowledge that even for Neo, I don't
It was
know
a
his life, but
process.
for him,
It was a
he had to get
process.
somewhere, right? And
Yes.
maybe he has come to the conclusion that, you know what, all that shit I was doing before was really because, my orientation should have been this. That's cool. That's cool. But
Well,
now it's
that's what
time
he
to be
said
quiet.
first.
Well, now it's time for him to be quiet because he's
Super
doing more
quiet.
harm than good. Whereas Kofi and little pretty privilege definitely might be in play. Because pretty, yeah, but I can respect that he's coming from a more articulate place about it. Nobody don't have to agree how he feels, right? Only the people that he seeks out and wants to, return that energy should care that he feels like it's role playing. I can
Yeah.
see exactly where he's coming from with that. Um, even though I've spent more of my life
Oh my
in monogamous relationships, but I understand how somebody could feel that way. That is isolative, that is constricting. Or I could, if that's his thing, by all means. I don't think he was bashing anybody with it. Neo, though, it feels like he's like, in your face, like, look what I can do type shit. Because he still got bodies left behind him that's hurting off the shit he's done. So I think kind of that's part of why it's treated a little differently. I mean, Kofi is fine, though, so it don't hurt. He
Mm,
is.
mm, mm.
Now, all the women that was like, he mine, he mine. I'm looking down there. Can you see me looking at you? All the women that's like, he fine, he fine. Now, you ain't got to worry about it because he can have you and you and you and you.
You and
I don't
you
want it.
and you and
I don't
you
want it.
and you.
I'm fine where I am. I don't want him. I don't want him. I don't want him. I don't want
Yeah,
him.
he's a
Oh,
good
oh.
man, Savannah.
No,
I
he's
mean, sometimes you do have to look at the pluses versus the minus.
yeah.
Like sometimes you got to. Like
The
I
plus
think
and
with
minus of
men,
what?
I think all right. So I can only put this up from a man's standpoint, right? From a man's standpoint, if there was a woman that he could have, right?
Don't piss.
Um,
You don't piss me
but
off. You're going to piss me off. You know what you're doing.
but you
There's a
know,
lot of peace. It's a lot of peace that's happening over here.
and
There's
I
a
love
lot of
it. I love
sorry,
that for you.
y'all.
I
We're
love
having
that
a
for you.
moment because I
I
know,
know.
like, I'm really
But no,
peaceful.
I'm just
Like,
saying, just
don't
from a male standpoint, right? A male point
can
of
I
view.
mute?
There's a woman that he wants, and she's like, "Listen, I'm not going to settle down. You know what I mean? I'm a Rolling Stone," and she's up front with him. Most men going to still pop. I hate to say it, and it's not a matter of men don't like men lack
Like
discernment in that area. I'm saying that if it's something that he want anyway,
if he lacks discipline, if
no,
he's on, if
no.
he's on a journey for something else,
If he lacks discipline, then he won't call or text his wife and say, "Hey, baby, I'm gonna do this thing." If he lacks discipline, he won't go within the boundaries and confines of his relationship in the agreements that they made. But if he has discipline, because we talking about Kofi who said, "Yeah, I mean, listen, this is what it is." So he put it out there from day one. So if he has discipline and she still presents the same thing, and it's something that he want, I don't know many men that's gonna be like, nah, because she not gonna settle down with me. I don't know
No,
too many men that would say that.
I want to bring up a big point that keeps coming up, and that is I want you to be clear that every time you use examples like this, where men would still, it does so much damage to the like male population as a whole because it reinforces that idea that y'all really can't control yourselves.
exactly.
And
You
so
keep
it makes
you
it bad
yes,
for you, and then it makes it bad for women, and you get mad at women. And obviously, we're talking in heteronormative,
and
places, right? But it makes women look like, oh, I expect this from all of y'all because just the rhetoric that constantly is put out there is like, oh, well, I mean, unfortunately, if a man sees it, then he probably gonna pop. It's like, and then when I turn around and say, y'all fuck anything, it's offensive. how dare you? And it's like, yo,
because I don't think that those two things go. I'm specifically saying.
Well, you keep using all these different examples, and you are covering almost every single area. And like a man still going.
No, I'm saying that if it's something that I'm putting a man in your position, me down the bottom. I'm putting a man in your position, a position of, yo, that's somebody I wanted to smash anyway. I don't give a fuck what they got going on outside of me because I wanted to smash anyway. I'm only worried about me. So if you want to say that men are selfish, absolutely. If you want to say that men lack discernment in that, I don't agree. Because I'm literally giving you an example of it's something that he wanted anyway. It's the idea that I'm going
just
to the
because
store.
You want something doesn't mean it's
you should have it. Exactly. Doesn't mean that you should have it. If I know that I'm lactose intolerant and I want ice cream, I probably shouldn't have it because I'm lactose intolerant. But every now and again, I'm gonna have fucking ice cream, whether I'm lactose intolerant or not.
Every now and again.
Yeah, because see, my mom always told me I overdo everything I did.
And
now I'm just living up to what she said. That's all.
Hey, mama.
See the stuff you speak over your kids. I gotta talk to her, especially because we Facebook friends.
I swear, it's like, come on, bro.
Stop. Whoa. So you accepted my mom? You know what? You're right.
You told me that I could.
I'm right.
You told me I could. We cleared the space.
That's how me and a couple other people about to send you some friend requests.
Don't you dare.
I'm texting one guy that name start with a G, another guy name start with a Y.
Please just go ahead and delete them. Fuck. When they come to delete. What do you mean?
Yo.
You almost made me just not okay.
But no.
But so you understand what I'm saying. You don't agree.
I understand what you're saying.
Understand.
I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying, the reason I disagree is because I do think that there are men out there who lack discernment and will fuck anything. I've seen them. I know them personally. Like, they're friends of mine. So I get
Can we be clear about one thing though? I know I'm saying fuck anything. I do mean that, so I'm not backtracking on that. But I think we're still getting messed up around the word discernment. We ain't gotta be talking about chicken heads.
If you're saying anything, then we have to get then literally what we're talking about is discernment.
We ain't gotta be talking about that though. What I'm saying is there could be a motherfucker that you should not, for whatever reason,
because she got
run that shit through. Okay. But she could be, above, board in terms of everything else. It does not mean you should go for it. That's a discernment thing. It doesn't have to be just because the person is trash.
But it doesn't mean that you lack discernment. It means that you had discernment in other areas. You weighed them out and you said, I don't think that's big enough consequence. That's still discernment. Me saying, yo, I'm a rob. The difference between discernment and recklessness. That's what I'm trying to get to. It's not. They're two different things. Recklessness is I'm running in the bank and I'm robbing the bank with no plan.
Two things can be true.
You're right. Things can be true. But recklessness is me running in the bank with no plan. Discernment is me picking out a bank that looks like it got less security than the next one. That's still discernment. Yes, both dumb, both crimes, both I might get caught in both instances. But either way it goes, I made a decision based on evidence. That's discernment. Period. If I make a decision and say, yo, I'm gonna fuck her because my wife ain't gonna leave me if I get caught, that's still discernment because she not gonna leave. I made a decision based on evidence. She didn't leave before. She not gonna leave now. That's still discernment. I still weighed the options.
Okay.
Like, it's not a matter of.
I just want to put that out there. Don't conjure up that example in your head. It's not this wife though. I just want to put that out there. Okay. Find something else.
When we say men lack discernment, it's not true in the sense of they didn't weigh their options.
Okay.
Like, that's all I'm saying. Is that, there was discernment. I was in college and I had a choice between that girl and that girl. Discernment said that girl.
And why I thought you was going to say I was in college. I had a choice between that school and that school. See how y'all niggas ain't shit?
No, because I had a choice between 5 schools. Only one of them accepted me, so I don't know what that's like. Actually, no, that's
you only accepted one, right? Because you could only go to one.
Two accepted. Two, I got accepted
Right.
to two.
But you had to weigh your options about the two and what was
Yeah.
going to be the pros and cons to choose
Yes.
the one
I
choice.
had to be discerning about the two. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in most cases, I have to be discerning. Hell, you got to be discerning about a job.
Very much so.
You know, you got to be discerning about the friend request that you accept or don't.
Here we go. Here we
You know,
go.
you got to be discerning about, you know, somebody sends you
You
a
on
message.
you on a roll a little
Hey.
bit. Wrap this up. Wrap this
I'm
up.
gonna get one of them boxes. I'm gonna get one of them boxes that I'm gonna turn the Joe door and be like, shut that shit.
You on a roll.
We get it.
I'm just
We
saying.
get it.
But we also would like to let you know that, you know, you're gonna leave a lot of people without peace when you keep men will just, you know, you're not making a great case for it.
I'm responsible for creating peace for one person in the world. One person in the whole entire world am I responsible for creating peace for. Anyone else, though, if I create peace for them, it is purely out of the kindness of my heart.
They are jerk. Moving on. Next subject, friend. Next.
like
what? So we can still be friends after this. Go ahead.
Because there's a couple of
shenanigans going on.
There is, and you know, when there's too much insider stuff that people don't.
Yep.
Keep moving.
No, it ain't. See, but that's the thing. It ain't nothing. This ain't. Yeah, I mean, what I'm talking about personally ain't insider stuff. Like I could say, yo, anybody in the world that feels like I create a peaceful environment for them, it is purely because I am conscious of doing a thing.
It's purely
that's it. Because at my heart, I am not a peaceful person.
They should have put them in the vows.
That's not who I am.
It's too late. Y'all took them.
Like, and I read that in your voice. F your peace, cuz. Like, for real.
I get.
So
bro.
So I'm not the person to be like, you know, like I'm creating this little bit of angst for them because they got to look at their man and say, would he do? No, look at yourself and ask, would you do?
This feel like it's starting to become a commercial.
Like that's really it.
Look in the mirror, ask yourself, would
I do the things that I think my spouse is capable of, or I think that my spouse might do?
Fair.
Am I capable of doing those things? If I'm capable of doing those things, even if it's one of those things like
he's like a professional battery pack loader or whatever, and he's acting like he's not doing a thing right now.
Yep. I know.
People don't catch it, and he's doing a thing. But that's cool.
What am I doing?
You're not doing anything. Let's keep it moving. I understand. Thank you. Everyone is responsible for their own selves. Thank you, friend.
No, it's not that you're responsible for your own self. And that is true, though. You are. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you're responsible for it, for like you. And I'm not saying like you dated this man knowing what he was capable of. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you don't have evidence and you're only going off of pure like
what a
intuition,
podcast would say,
then ask yourself that question. Would you do a thing? That's all I'm saying. Now, once you get evidence, there's nothing else to talk about. You ain't got to consider.
That's not all your. That's not. That's all I'm saying. It's not. But
at all.
What else am I saying?
It's okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, because now you about to get on your will. And
this soapbox is getting taller and stuff. But go ahead. Woohoo. There was something else we were supposed to talk about. Go ahead.
What is it? I don't remember. I thought it was just these two.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was just these two.
What did the people say? Would you stay? Would you cheat that?
I don't know.
What was the question?
So would I stay?
Yeah. Wait, what are the questions? What would you do if you discovered your partner was cheating? Would you forgive, forget, or walk away?
Yes.
Thank you.
Just based off that question, I'd probably stay. Based off of what Steve Smith and Mr. Martinez is going through, first off, I would never make it public that another man moved my wife out. You did. My ego is entirely too fragile for me to then publicly restate a thing. Like, I'm not public. Like, that's another thing. Like, I don't like reliving shit. So it's hard for me to live it once and then got to explain it later. Like, it's hard for me to do that. So I would much rather not have to. So, yeah, I don't want to. So if I got to justify to myself every day of why I'm staying with this woman after another man moved her IUD, I'm sorry, not moved. We keep saying moved as if like.
No, you keep saying.
We did say she said rearranged though in the text. Yeah.
But what the real word is dislodged, because it's actually like it's the surgical procedure. So
he saved her thousands of dollars and she ain't had to go to Geico.
No, he might have cost her more money. What you mean? They become embedded.
Lodged, dislodged.
Dislodged.
Which one?
No, dislodged just means displaced. So we'll just say displaced.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So
it didn't come out, is what I'm saying.
All right. But if
Meka, what would you do? Because I answered in the beginning.
I kind of feel like I answered in the beginning first, but I am going to go off of the fact that it depends on what the situation was. Do we have a understanding about this agreement? We gave like the pound, the pinky. What the fuck did we do to say when we broke that we both understood what it was hitting for? Because I might feel a response to something that happened. But if it wasn't an understanding that we both had, then that's just my feeling. Not to say that my partner is not invited to like support me through that, but that's my shit. The same thing goes for my partners, right? But if I have a solid agreement with you and you violate that, the air sign shit in my head then ran through 50,000 things. So you probably going to get shit that didn't even belong to you because they told me. That's what they said. That's what they said. They said this nigga playing in your face.
But but if we're talking about feelings,
that's the question.
If we're talking about feelings in that instance, then what would be the difference in whether or not you had an agreement? If you feel a way, what's the difference?
We're talking about the difference between what I manage, right? Because I recognize that it is, it's based off of response, right? I got to manage that. I could choose if I want to bring you 100%, but I could choose in that regard. I could choose regardless. But in that regard specifically, I think it's my responsibility to, I'm either going to eat that or not. Yes. If it's something that was violated, though.
Still your job.
Yes, it is.
Violation. Why are we, so.
Still your job to manage your emotions.
No, it's still my job, but
so
now,
what's the difference? But what's the difference in managing your emotions with or without the person? Is what I'm asking. Like you're saying
again, if it's just on me, I use the word invite. I use the word invite. I use the word invite. I will invite my partner into, the idea of trying to help support me in what I'm experiencing.
Your feelings. Then what?
And that's the end of the relationship for me anyway.
The question is about if you're staying, because if I'm staying, it's going to be a ride. It's going to be a ride, but I'm not.
Yeah, but
we're talking about marriage.
Why would you stay if you know it's going to be a ride?
So here we go. Are we talking about marriage or?
Well, you said if it was marriage, you wouldn't stay, and I'm really interested in that.
Marriage, I'm not staying.
Okay.
I'm saying in any instance that you decide to stay, knowing preemptively that it's going to be an issue,
going to be a ride.
It's going to be a ride. Mm-hmm. Why would you stay? Like, what could possibly make you say, "Yo, I'm gonna stay and I'm gonna put this nigga through hell"? Because that's what I hear when I say it's going to be a ride.
You're doing a thing, aren't you? You're doing
just
a thing.
Asking a question.
So
none of your friends are watching, and if they are, they didn't comment. Go ahead.
I'm crying.
Unhealed at one portion. I'm being transparent. At one portion, unhealed me loved to send people to hell. You put me through something.
I forgot about that, and I wasn't talking about that when I said it. Go ahead.
So that's why I thought you were doing things because you've literally witnessed.
Yes.
Hades or whatever. So if you're doing a thing and you're being dishonest or whatever, then that means you don't mean me well. So, but I may enjoy the other portions, whatever, of you. So the unhealed me, instead of just walking away, is going to, as I'm working out my feelings, send you to hell. And that's just that. You're not going to feel like it's hell or anything like that, but eventually it would be hell. That was prior to, been some time ago, whatever. Friend, witness, excuse me, it has very long time ago, whatever, but that was
unhealed. You said, excuse me.
I'm just answering why.
But you said, excuse me, it has. Like, who was saying that it wasn't?
Because you made a face and you did like a smirk and you're like, oh, I forget.
Oh, shit, my bad.
You definitely did a smirk. You did a.
That's why these live shows suck when I'm not looking at. That's why I don't look at the comments. I got to look at my face because I got to know who's doing it all.
You did a thing, so that was a unhealed. So I'm just answering because y'all are married. So single person, at one point, that's what I would say. But I don't wish that for myself in peace. It's just time to skedaddle and keep moving.
So you would leave regardless, is what I hear you saying.
Yes, I have to.
Okay, but you're saying in marriage it would be a little shorter transition because of.
Yeah, it's just like that's it. I mean, it's a big, especially, and you have to consider different things, right? We're not giving context. There's age and all that other stuff. I'm at a big grown age. I don't got time. Like, just go ahead and be
you ain't getting none of my summers.
Understood.
And there we go.
I understand that. I
got maybe 20, 30 summers left.
There we go.
I have none of my summers, and I just took that video off.
Oh my God.
I'm crying. I think it's one interesting point though for me is that I'm definitely speaking from now, because the before 4 times, the long time ago, is like it wouldn't have been like I could assume that you were doing some shit out of pocket, and I would be going so fast you didn't even realize my phone was disconnected. Like my fuse for bullshit. And I'm gonna be honest, that's because you couldn't tell me I wasn't the absolute.
I wasn't right.
Nigga, please. Like, your mama wish I was her daughter.
I know what she looks like in my mind.
Yeah,
what?
your mama would have traded me in for your ass. Okay? That's how much I thought about, me in terms of the relationships that I was in. So it was very dispensable for me. So the idea of sticking around because the nigga cheated was like, for why? Like, he'd go be with her or them, and I go kick it with some other niggas. It didn't make sense to me, and I definitely wasn't gonna be like retaliative cheating. Like, for what? Now I'm absolutely not. Like, cause now I can still come look at you. I had a blast with him. I ain't never coming home. Like, you got me fucked up. So the idea that, like, that's the thing for me is I have to think more about kind of what you were saying, Meeka, about my longevity, what I really see from my relationship. Like you said, what are the details around how this transgression occurred? Like, is this salvageable for me without ego? Or do I feel like this is the beginning of a pattern of, discretionary behavior that I always got to worry about whether I can or can't forgive? You know what I mean? That's a whole different thing being an older person for me. But the young version, man, you say ain't none of her people watching. I'm saying, God, ain't none of these niggas watching that I used to fuck with. Because they'd be like, yeah, and did. The shit I had at my house was at my grandmom's and was. I ain't even realize grandmom calling me like she just dropped shit out.
Shout out to everybody in the comments. See, that's Drake's job. I normally don't do that. But shout out to everybody in the comments.
Drake could have put that shit in the comments.
He could have. So me personally,
I love you, bro.
If we're saying as far as like time and age and experience and whatnot, my answer doesn't change. And it's because I've always been expecting karma. I know what I did. Like I know what I did. I know. Not only do I know where the bodies are buried, I buried the bodies.
Love, don't you want to be pink?
What?
No, you don't want to be pink.
He don't.
Should be pink. Look at the nose.
You see my nose? I'm in a Fruple with my nose. See, I'm the hinge partner to this one.
Don't you want to be pain? Don't you want happy
You see how
stuff?
this motherfucker is like a cheerleader?
Good
Like he's staying the
karma.
whole time with that motherfucking car sticking up. This one I got, he got my heart. I got his heart. So.
But because I know what I've done in life, to me it's like, yo, if I can be forgiven, then if in order for me to be forgiven, I have to then practice forgiveness. I don't believe that
Mhm.
I should have been forgiven, and then I'm in a situation on the other side of it and I don't practice the same type of grace.
Of course.
But
So
let me
for
ask you
me,
something, and I don't want to go into like a whole nother thing or anything, but I'm very curious because of this idea. I ain't trying to take the shit personally, right? But what I get from that, because you said that like you're kind of awaiting this like universal reciprocity, right, of sorts for the shit that you put out, then that means that you go into relationships with that understanding, or at least that's your truth. How do you separate that with the new partners you acquire and giving them kind of more of a blank slate and not assuming that they're going to do something to violate or hurt you if you're awaiting this fucking wrath of sorts
Need
to
Jesus and
come your
repentance,
way?
but that's a whole nother conversation.
no,
And
it's not. It's not. It to me is literally just do it. Like I don't
just do
understand.
what?
Just practice a thing. If I say I'm coming into a relationship and I'm coming into a new relationship, a new person, a new partner, or whatever, then they're new. I believe in
Right.
starting. I believe in starting wholly new for even in relationships. So like you and
I
I
agree.
go through something. You know how I feel. I've told you this years ago. If we go through something and we come to a pass where it was heads or tails as to whether or not we was going to stay,
Hmm.
and it happened on a Monday, we got a new anniversary on Tuesday because I don't believe that relationship died on that day. This is a whole new relationship for me. So whether she feels that way or not is up to her. But if I can practice that with the person that did a thing, then I can practice that with somebody that ain't do nothing yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to so you
No, no,
understand
no,
my
no.
point.
Just because of his karma.
When I say yet, I have to say yet because it's not a matter of me expecting and just waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's a
You're
manner
saying a
of
thing may happen,
it's something may
whatever that
happen.
thing is.
It may not
Yeah.
be that she cheats, right? It may be
Right.
that she tells my business to her friend and her friend then tells it to somebody else. So
You equate
it's
that to the same level as
No, he's just saying a
cheating?
thing may
a thing.
happen
It could
Okay.
be
that
Okay.
anything.
where he may have to
Okay.
forgive.
And I don't believe that karma has to meet you at the level that you set. I
Okay.
don't believe that that's a thing. Hell,
Hmm.
sometimes we talk about Chinese torture methods. A death by 1,000 cuts is still death. End
Hmm.
result is the same.
But I believe in grace,
I do too.
and I
And
believe in
that's and so
forgiveness,
I
and
believe
I
in grace.
believe
It's not I don't always believe in
oh,
forgiveness, but I do believe in grace. Because forgiveness kind of comes with this idea that I might forgive you again. Me showing you grace
no.
and me
I
not
don't
forgiving
think
you aren't the same.
I can forgive you when you are over there. I forgive some people that I've never spoken to again
Yeah,
because I don't know what it is internally that you have going on, that you got going on, but I forgive you because there's something that made you not do right by me. But I forgive you. I don't even have to verbally tell you, I forgive you. I forgive that
yeah,
person or whatever. And I just believe that because
yeah.
religiously also
But
God
then
practices it.
showing grace isn't
I
that.
respect
Oh,
Showing
that.
those
grace
two different
is
things.
yeah, showing
Not
grace
everybody
is
gets,
just in the
yeah.
moment. I'm not snapping your fucking neck. That's grace. In the moment, me saying to you, yo, listen, you got it. I'm gonna walk away and we can talk about this later.
Can we
That's
say grace is
grace.
also a more gentle thing? See how I have to
Yeah.
bounce you. Grace is
No,
also a more
grace.
gentle thing or whatever, because sometimes the way that people communicate, I've had this with
We just
work
talked about
or
this earlier today.
anything,
You
and
bringing
even
personal
friends.
business. You
Grace
bringing
is
personal
like,
business into the pod.
I'm crying. I'm crying. Let me just say this
I'm
really
just saying
quickly.
this. We're just redefining grace. Grace, everything is so very Taurus, very like not
No,
snapping your neck. It doesn't have to be
no,
again,
it doesn't.
like
No, when I say
my
it doesn't
friend
have to
said,
be.
so extreme. I'm just saying some softer terms as well. Let's make it relatable to everybody.
To
I
Different
everybody.
understand that,
personalities.
but y'all got me all the way fucked up. Forgiveness, grace, both of them are very exhausting. They can be. me being able to sit something down that happened doesn't necessarily mean for me that I forgave it. It means that I'm not prioritizing it at this time. And again, I'm a very pattern driven person. I talk about that all the time. So if I'm, I've been playing this card game. It's a car, CAR game on my phone, right? To kind of distract myself. And it's color coordinated, right? Something I don't have to do a lot of thinking about, blah, blah, blah. So the idea is that you have a car that you have to assign to the people that come up to get into the car. So you have to find in this little puzzle of cars where where you can get the car out so that people can get on. I don't know if I'm explaining that well enough, but that's irrelevant. So it's relevant, but the point of that is I might not have all the green cars back to back right now. I might have one. All right, cool. I'm gonna sit on this one. I'm gonna tuck it, but I'm gonna sit on this one. If some more green cars start coming up, baby, this is a pattern. So what am I forgiving really? I'm forgiving the fact that you won off me that time. No, like I can sit it down. It doesn't have to be a prevalent present part of our exchange. But I feel like that's how people let a lot of stuff slide because the idea, and I'm not saying for you guys, but in a lot of people's idea, forgiveness comes with the idea that it's not like addressed again. It's not brought back up. It's like, well, if you forgave me, why are we still talking about it? Type thing. So for me, forgiveness with people is a little funny.
Yeah, but
in
that's
terms of
grace.
Also is attaching it to
That's
access.
grace.
in terms
That
of grace,
literally is
though,
grace. I don't have to. That's why I said I don't have to forgive you to show you grace.
okay, but I'm saying for grace, for me, it looks a little bit like consideration, right? So I'm considering certain things before I respond. That's my attempt. Is that I don't want to see you in the way you might be presenting to me, which might not have nothing to do with you at all. How I'm taking it, how I'm receiving it, or whatever. So I'm going to give you grace until I have something more definitive. That's how I view that.
That's not grace.
That's another extreme too. I
That's
need
not
grace
grace.
about 3 or 4
What
times.
is
Grace is I'm not waiting for another
4
thing.
times.
No, grace is I'm not waiting for another thing. That's it. I'm just not waiting for another thing. Grace is she cheated. I made a decision to stay. Then by making that decision to stay,
and you gave her grace.
I'm not bringing it up no more. I'm not punishing her every time I'm triggered. That's grace.
A whole nother extreme.
That's not an extreme.
Well, I mean, grace in that situation.
That's not an extreme. That literally was what we was just talking about. But that's not an extreme to me.
I'm just
saying you cheating on me. I'm opting towards forgiveness, right? Because that's another thing. I think we talk about it like it's some thing that happens like that. It's an actual that's a process as well. But I'm opting towards forgiveness.
Yes.
And then you're saying that the grace in that is that I'm not going to put you through additional criticism, badgering, reconjuring, all that stuff. I can't see that as grace at all because if I offended you, right? And you're leaning towards forgiveness to me. If part of your healing is that sometimes we're going to have to fucking talk about it, then that's what we have to do. I don't get to say, well, you
that's
let me
not what I'm saying.
Talking about it, grace and forgiveness
you know
is
the difference between talking about it and punishing someone for something.
I agree. So.
You know the difference. Don't do that.
Between what?
Between talking about it and punishing someone. You know the difference.
It's a different thing.
So
that's not what I said. I didn't say
that is what you said.
Punishing someone.
I said punishing someone, and you then said what grace looks like to you. I'm saying to you that grace doesn't look like grace doesn't look like us. Grace looks like, yes, we can talk about it. Grace doesn't look like the difference between the two is the fact that you might be going through your process. I get it, but that doesn't mean that you get to repunish me every time you get triggered.
So me bringing it up to you is repunishing. No, I'm gonna punish you in the first fucking place for because she's talking about Hades, and I'm saying it got to be something below there.
But that's the thing. I'm not saying that you bringing it up is punishing. I'm saying the part that is punishing. You know women, you know people who have punished their partners for cheating. You know what that's looked like.
Different thing, though.
But then
she was just talking about it. She said
she puts them through Hades. Yes, that's not grace.
I did put them through Hades.
She did put them through Hades, and you.
I mean, obviously, you didn't put anyone through Hades recently. You got a Valentine's Day balloon behind you.
You know what?
No need for Hades. But anyway, back to what we were saying. The whole point is, I think that everything we talked about, it depends on a person. And, cheating, the definition of cheating, the
The
freaking
definition
definition
of
of grace.
monogamy and what that's supposed to look like.
Yeah. Grace. Grace and forgiveness.
Yeah, and whatever them two want to do, whatever them two decide.
That's what monogamy is.
If that means that
we literally
Don't
start
do it.
when we
Don't
talk
do
about
it.
when we talk about LS. When we talk about LS and we talk about
But we
monogamous
don't,
people
and we're
that
not
practice
tonight.
LS,
So we're gonna
we
stay in the
call it
scope of what the
non-monogamy.
actual podcast is about.
Yeah, we call it non-monogamy. We don't call it
no, we don't.
monogamy, but you're practicing LS. No, you're just not monogamous. Whether you want to say you're not monogamous romantically, sexually,
I don't know all of those
like
things.
however you
I
want to
disagree.
describe it. But that's what
I
that
just
is.
know.
Okay.
Okay, that's all.
Don't be
End of the
Dennis
day.
and Menace.
Whatever.
Air sign talk.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
Listen, whoever takes this and decides that it's an issue and they want to take it back to their relationship, that's cool. Just let me know. Just let me know. You know what I mean?
Ain't nobody
Shoot
letting
me an inbox or something and say, hey, Basim, you brought this up to me, and now I'm taking this shit to my husband, and I'm cursing him out. Cool, or the other way.
That was a cute way of telling the ladies to inbox you. Y'all don't inbox that man.
No, because the other way, I'm about to
Go ahead and inbox
flip
them,
Don't
that on his
inbox that
head.
man.
Because if the husband
He does
or
stuff
Inbox
on
them if
purpose
that's what y'all
to
wanna
if
do.
the spouse
y'all
that's being
to get y'all
accused of a
going.
thing, if the spouse
Are we
that's
letting
being
him do
accused
his
of a
thing?
thing wants to reach out to me, I'll accept their inbox too. What you mean? We can talk about this. We can have a
No.
conversation. I can try to help you save your relationship.
He's a poly conflict specialist too, apparently.
I mean, just conflict in general. You ain't got to be poly.
Shit.
Anywho,
You know, I got friends that aren't poly.
Do you?
Yeah, me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ooh, baby, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
I mean, sometimes she's ethically non-monogamous, but she's not.
She's
that's
dating.
not true.
She's dating. That's
Oh,
called dating.
I have dated folk that
And they knew about each other.
let's not put my business on there. That is not
I
the
love that. I
thing.
love that for her. I love that for her.
I did
I
too.
think
It was
that's.
like,
I think that's how it's supposed
up
to be.
until
I'm just
up
kidding.
until now,
No, I've
I
dated
don't think I've
people
ever
that
seen her
are,
glow
you
more
know,
than she did then. Like as of recently, like she's glowing a lot. But back then, when she was like in her element, oh,
this
he-
is my element.
now you're still in your element. It's okay. All right, y'all. We've been on here for like an hour and some change. Tell the people where to find you. We'll start up at the top.
Tell them where to find me.
You are no longer on IG. I know you've never been on Twitter. All right, so they can find you on
TikTok.
Facebook, on
On
TikTok.
Facebook.
Oh yeah. What are you on TikTok?
Still the same thing. Meeka_ATS. Meeka ATS. Yeah, I'm not on IG no more, y'all. I can't. It does nothing for my psyche. Yeah, maybe on
I'm over
Facebook
here
and
sending you
TikTok.
stuff and
I don't want to be saying. What do you mean, Nancy? Tell me where to find you. Who said I
All
want to be
right,
saying?
whatever. Meek, tell them where to find you.
Send back team a inbox up for me.
I'm on
That's
IG.
true too. I'll tell her. I send messages.
Don't
Yeah.
at Tamika Monique on like everything. That's it.
All right, y'all. Y'all can find me, Basim The Dream, everywhere. I literally grab that name every time a new social come out, except for Truth. I haven't. I refuse to. Damn, I.
Oh, I'm on Blue Sky. I don't ever check it and
Oh, yeah, I'm
still,
on Blue Sky too.
but I don't ever check those either.
Yeah.
I just download them because I think Blue Sky is like black owned or something. I don't know.
It's not.
Either way, though.
Blue Sky is owned by the guy who used to own Twitter.
This is a terrible ending. Wrap it up.
All right, where you want to be found at?
I already said I'm Tamika Monique on everything.
You know
No, I
what?
said Basim. Where he want to be found
He
at?
says.
Good to see you,
Basim The
Shannon.
Dream.
Shout out to
everywhere.
everybody that was in the comments. Dre, we miss you. Obviously, we got to do this again with you on here so that you can talk your shit and we can laugh at them. All right,
I'm
y'all,
crying.
be safe.
Bye.